Hey guys, how are you? If you're looking for new fighting games, you're in the right place. I'm Matthew, and without wasting any time, let's start the list with Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, scheduled for release on October 30th, 2025. It's the definitive collection that brings together all the essential games from the Mortal Kombat series' early years. The collection unearths the franchise's legendary origins, including iconic arcade classics, popular console versions, as well as rare releases and fan favorites. This digital Eclipse production celebrates the franchise's pioneering legacy, highlighting its cultural importance and the impact it had on the world of fighting video games. One of the unique features of the Legacy Collection is its interactive documentary format, which offers a deep dive behind the scenes of the series. Through exclusive interviews with the original team, such as Ed Boon, John Tobias, John Vogel, and Dan Fortin, the player gains access to stories, secrets, rare concept art, archive videos, and much more, unveiling how Mortal Kombat revolutionized the industry with its use of digitized humans, representing characters in explosive combat and shocking the public at the time. This transforms the experience into something that goes beyond gameplay, enriching the understanding for fans of the saga. The package includes an extensive timeline of Mortal Kombat history, with detailed narratives of the characters and their universes, such as Earthrealm, Outworld, and Edenia, showing the narrative evolution of the franchise. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is not just a rehash of old games, but a careful and respectful celebration of the impact the franchise had on the fighting game genre and pop culture.
It became something that added to the mystique of Mortal Kombat.
Developed by Riot Games, the studio behind giants like League of Legends and Valorant, 2XCO arrives with an enormous weight on its shoulders. My first impression is of an ambitious project that seeks to redefine what we expect from a free-to-play fighting game. Riot has a history of creating long-lasting competitive ecosystems, and I see 2XCO as their next big bet to dominate another genre. The choice of a free-to-play model, likely sustained by cosmetics, is a smart move to attract a massive player base from the start, removing the main barrier to entry that many fighting games have. What captures my attention most is the 2 versus 2 core mechanic with dynamic tag-ins. This reminds me of classics like Marvel vs. Capcom, but with the tactical depth that Riot usually infuses into its games. The idea of being able to call in your partner to extend combos, create defensive setups, or simply save your skin in a critical moment opens up a range of strategies that goes far beyond the traditional 1 versus 1. I imagine that the synergy between the champions of Runeterra will be the key point, and mastery will come not just from knowing your character, but from mastering the interactions of your duo. Visually, the game looks like a natural evolution of the art style of Arcane and League of Legends itself. The characters are vibrant, full of personality, and the animations look fluid and impactful, an essential requirement for the genre. Riot knows how to create a cohesive and attractive universe, and I believe 2XCO will be a visual spectacle that manages to be beautiful and at the same time, clear enough for high-level competitive game reading, something that not all fighting games manage to balance.
What could go wrong? I've got time on my side. Got him! Record, rewind, repeat.
Last chance to surrender.
Go for it.
All in!
Fire it up! Second chance. Time's not gonna heal that.
Have you even read the Scout Handbook? You've got a magnificent mustache, sir. You look cold, mister. Want me to get a fire going? I'm a Vandal Scout, sir, but okay. Let's see. Found it. No wonder you don't have any badges. Oh, what a cute little talking squirrel. Ma'am, I'll have you know I'm a junior first-class Vandal Scout. I brought my victory bugle. And I plan on playing it. New recruits. Let's put them to the test and see what they know. Ma'am, it's against the code to keep giant sea monsters as pets. Steady, steady. Here it comes. Watch out.
Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls caught my attention by uniting the Marvel Universe with the Japanese tradition of fighting games, resulting from the partnership between Arc System Works and Sony. The name Tokon refers to the fighting spirit, a Japanese philosophy that fits very well with the game's proposal, a bridge between Nipponese culture and the superheroes that marked generations. The visuals already reveal this fusion, mixing classic American comics and panels inspired by shonen manga, giving a unique identity from the selection screen to the transitions during special moves. The mechanical highlight goes to the 4 versus 4 team combat. Instead of the traditional 1 versus 1, the match starts 2 versus 2 and evolves. As certain special moves and throws are executed, allies enter the fray, making everything even more chaotic and strategic. The team shares 1 health bar, promoting tactical decisions quite different from what is usually seen. I imagine the possibilities for comebacks and strategies that can emerge, especially in competitive games. Arc System Works also brought character details, such as Spider-Man with his spider sense for dodges and counterattacks, and Ghost Rider with his vengeance bar, a kind of tachometer that boosts his powers if the player masters the timing. All this promises dynamic battles and an enormous variety of playstyles. I'm curious to try out each hero and discover my favorite composition. I confess that seeing Arc System Works take on Marvel makes me hopeful. The studio is a reference in fast, stylish fighting games that value both the casual player and the competitive enthusiast. Moreover, the inspirations in both cultures create a visual and narrative freshness rare in games based on such popular franchises. Deep down, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls excites me not only for the battles themselves, but for the boldness of aligning 2 such distinct traditions and proposing something truly new.
それじゃあ今回はここまで。スパイダーマンの次回の活躍に乞うご期待。これが科学の素晴らしさだ。生きてやるぞ。エングレード。
ちょうだいパンチ私の名前の通りマーベラス
親愛なるスパイダーマンだスパイリーセンス今日も見事大勝利
俺とやり合うってか調子が出てきたぜ俺様の名はスターロード胸に刻んでおきな覚悟しやがれシートベルト え人々に嫌われていても私は世界を守る。さあ耐えられるかしら。こりゃ正義のためにこれが私のとっておきだ。こっちだよ。全てをやっ尽くすよ。抱かれなさいせや。またなベイベー。我々のチームワークは絶対に破れない。マーベル闘魂ファイティングソウルズ。
Virtua Fighter 6 is one of those games whose evolution always raises doubts. How to innovate without losing the essence. I was excited to see that Sega brought profound changes, but with an eye on what made the series iconic. This time, the game presents two modes. Standard, for those who like the traditional, and Uprising, which plays with the concept of momentum and promises less predictable and more dramatic fights. Among the most curious novelties is the break and rush system, which brings prolonged vulnerability to parts of the body hit, creating strategic openings that persist for several rounds. This adds a tactical layer that delights me with the promise of rhythm changes in every confrontation. Another point is the stunner and stun combo, a system of fluid and realistic combos, but with simple commands. A wise decision to bring in newcomers without alienating veterans. The visuals maintain the series' elegant minimalism, but everything is more refined now. Anyone who saw the demos noticed the care in the movements, the atmosphere of the stadiums, and especially the fidelity of the classic character models, such as Akira Yuki and Sarah Bryant. For me, it's a relief to see the franchise continue to respect its legacy. Speaking of legacy, the promise of rollback netcode and crossplay is one of the most important. Virtua Fighter has always had a loyal community, often divided across different platforms. This time, Sega seems truly determined to unite the crowd, and this can ensure a long life for the online competitive scene. Ultimately, Virtua Fighter 6 seems like that purest experience with a touch of modernity. Sega implemented systems that challenge not only the player, but the tradition of 3D fighting games. I remain curious to see if the changes will win over the loyal base without scaring off newcomers, but I'm betting on it.
The very team that spelled an end to his glory days, that led to his controversial retirement, that shocked the world. Free from his pack tonight, he's hunting solo. The force of pain you can contain. Wolf Hockfield.
Generic Fighter maybe is the type of project that has everything to dominate the indie scene with charisma and creativity. The game was born as a kind of inside joke, but the unexpected hype made the developer invest more and more. Now, the paid version arrives on Steam, bringing that spirit of super caricatured and fun fighter archetypes. The proposal is to embrace the absurdity of classic genre references. Anyone who misses that Mugen vibe and loves memes or parodies will identify with it right away. Each character seems to be built from cliches, but with humor, something that is honestly lacking in dozens of serious fighting games we see every year. The work is practically from a fan for fans. The trailers show evolution such as new characters, some quite bizarre, creative stages, and the beginning of an online mode, perhaps even with rollback netcode, something rare among indies without a giant publisher. The atmosphere in the forums is one of a growing community, offering opinions, voting on ideas, indicating where the developer can advance. And this creates the engagement we love to see flourish. Don't be fooled into thinking it's just a joke. The promise is to bring accessible combat, but with room for the more technical crowd to show their skills. It remains to be seen if the execution will also mechanically surprise, as it makes a difference to bring consistent physics, rhythm, and hitboxes even when the premise is playful. I hope Generic Fighter maybe becomes a cult hit, and a meme in online tournaments. I love seeing small projects grow out of pure love for the genre. Project Shikai emerges as an intriguing proposition from an independent studio, The Mirror. What immediately captivates me is its premise, a 2D fighting game with a dismemberment system. This is not just an aesthetic choice to shock, but a central gameplay mechanic. The idea that attacks can cause permanent damage to the opponent's limbs during the match, altering their movements and abilities, is something we don't see often. This can add a fascinating strategic layer, where the objective is not just to empty the health bar, but to tactically incapacitate the opponent. The inspiration from Soul Calibur is evident, but taken to a more visceral and consequential extreme in 2D. I imagine scenarios where losing an arm means losing access to certain special attacks, or a damaged leg makes your movements slower and your jumps shorter. This dynamic forces constant adaptation. You won't be able to rely on a single game plan, as it can be literally ripped away from you. My expectation is that this will create a tense and unpredictable experience in every round. What makes me curious and a little apprehensive is the balance. With such a drastic mechanic, it will be an enormous challenge for the developers to ensure the game remains fair and competitive. How to prevent a match from being decided in the first few seconds by a lucky blow that removes a crucial limb? The Mirror will need to create a robust system of defense and counterattack so that the dismemberment mechanic is a tactical tool and not a source of frustration. I believe that the execution of this idea will be the determining factor for the game's success or failure. Half Sword stands out from all the others on the list by not being a traditional fighting game, but rather a physics-based medieval fencing simulator. The first thing that comes to mind is, this is going to be hilarious and brutal at the same time. The proposal of controlling a warrior with a weapon that is not rigidly animated, but that reacts realistically to physics, reminds me of games like Quap or Torabash, but applied to blade combat. The learning curve seems to be intentionally a steep cliff. The focus here is not on predefined combos or special bars, but on the pure and direct control of your weapon. I imagine that every duel will be a clumsy and deadly dance, where one false move can result in disaster. The satisfaction will come not from memorizing inputs, but from mastering the game's physics to the point of being able to deliver a precise and intentional blow. It's an approach that values patience and experimentation, which may be a niche, but a very dedicated niche. The medieval setting seems to be taken seriously, with a special attention to the realism of combat. The promise of different types of weapons and armor, each with its weight and physical properties, adds a layer of depth. It won't just be about swinging the sword. It will be about understanding how a mace behaves differently from an axe, and how plate armor deflects a blow that a leather jerkin could not. For enthusiasts of history and medieval combat, this sounds like a feast. My only concern is whether the game will manage to be more than a fun curiosity. Physics-based gameplay can sometimes be more frustrating than rewarding. Wildcard is different from practically everything I've seen. It mixes elements of Clash Royale, MOBA, 3D arena, hero shooter, and sports, creating a chaotic but very inventive experience. Pausing to think about a fighting game where you build a deck, summon units, and still directly control your character creates 1,000 possibilities. The game heavily bets on 2 versus 2 matches with strategic deck building, meaning in each dispute, it's not just reflexes that count, but also the ability to assemble certain combos and react quickly to opponent attacks and summons. You play cards as if they were grenades or even Pokeballs, and units come out fighting for you in addition to your own hero having unique movements, attacks, and jumps. Wildcard seduces me with its different sports vibe. There are objectives similar to soccer, such as kill the opponent's goalkeeper and score a goal, which brings life to the arenas and transforms each battle into more than a simple exchange of blows. This challenges both digital sports lovers and card game and fighting game fanatics. The visuals are also impressive, with vibrant arenas and charismatic characters, balancing that cartoonish vibe with flashy effects. The fact that it rewards viewers via streaming shows that the developers are attentive to digital engagement trends, already aiming for the competitive and streamer scene. Wildcard could be the new addiction for that group of friends who want something fresh and competitive, or simply an invitation for those who have always been torn between card games and MOBAs to experience the world of fighting games from another perspective.
Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop up. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to. Something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face, and I wanna get...
Polyfighter embraces the retro and single-player spirit with a unique proposal. It's a fighting roguelike in which each victory allows you to learn new moves, completely modifying your character's style. There is no focus on multiplayer but on progressing alone, facing increasingly difficult opponents and secret bosses, a pure 90s arcade atmosphere. The coolest point is the customization of the combat style. Each player can transform their fighter into something completely different, whether a grappler, zoner, or rushdown specialist. The game recycles that climate of constant adaptation, typical of roguelikes, into the structure of classic fighting games, creating unpredictable situations in each run. The visuals bet on retro, simple and colorful polygons, a clean interface with nostalgic charm. More than 40 unlockable characters are already promised, each with their own personality and possible combination of moves, which encourages maximum exploration and experimentation. Polyfighter also stands out for its friendly controls. The goal seems to be to please both novices, with easy commands, and veteran players, with the variety of builds and progressive challenges, something that is not always balanced in today's fighting games. Arcade fans and those who miss a deep solo experience will find a rare ingredient here. It's the celebration of old-school fighting, with the modern flavor of the roguelike. I just hope the replay factor is as high as it promises. Invincible VS arrives with an explosive proposal. Ultra-fast 3 versus 3 battles, long combos, destructible environments, and violence inspired by the comics. The game, slated for 2026, brings accessible commands for novices, and at the same time, classic controls for those seeking technique and depth, an essential choice to please all audiences. The great differential is the authenticity. Created by the Quarter Up studio, full of Killer Instinct veterans, the project bets on the precision of combat, combined with a sea of blood and brutality that do justice to the original Invincible material. Another highlight is the anti-infinite system, which promises to combat the traditional traps of infinite combos. The idea is to allow extensive sequences, but with intelligence to preserve a fair and accessible rhythm. Something always welcome, especially in tag team games where chaos reigns on screen. The visuals are vibrant and faithful to the comic style, with explosive battles and a constant sense of impact. The initial roster already makes it clear that superhero fans will find their favorite characters, and seeing destruction in a dynamic environment reinforces the frantic atmosphere. Invincible versus seeks to attract both the casual audience, for being easy to pick up and play, and serious fighting game competitors. If they promise balance and competitive support, it can easily stand out in the online multiplayer scene. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and until next time.
Consider this version!
Let's do this!
Got you covered!
On beat down, coming up!
Say you want to smoke.
Say you want to smoke.
Smoke.
Say you want to smoke some real.
Say yes.
It's all good. I called you a cab.